The doctor didn't look at the ultrasound screen. She turned it off. The heartbeat vanished. Then she locked the door and whispered something that made my blood run cold. If you love your unborn child, you need to divorce your husband today. I was 4 months pregnant. I trusted my husband. And in that moment, I realized my entire marriage was a carefully planned lie. The ultrasound room was dim and quiet, painted in calming blues meant to soften fear. I lay back on the table, my hands resting on my belly, waiting for the familiar reassurance. The screen flickered to life. There it was, a tiny heartbeat, steady and strong. Relief washed over me. But the doctor didn't smile. Dr. Hannah Brooks stood frozen, staring not at the screen, but at my medical file. Her hands were shaking. "Doctor," I asked, "is something wrong?" She reached forward and switched off the monitor. The room went silent. "Mrs. Carter," she said quietly, "I need to speak with you privately, right now." My heart started racing. "Is my baby okay?" She didn't answer. She walked into her office. I followed, dizzy with fear. Inside, she closed the door. Then locked it. The click echoed in my ears. "I'm sorry," she whispered, "but what I'm about to tell you can't leave this room." My throat went dry. "Please," I begged, "just tell me if my baby's okay." She nodded. "The baby is healthy." I exhaled. Then she continued. "But your marriage is not." "I don't understand," I said. "My husband couldn't come today, he had work." Dr. Brooks sat across from me, her face pale. "You need to leave him," she said, "today, before you go home." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. "Divorce, we're expecting a baby, we did IVF together." Tears welled in her eyes. "My younger sister works at your fertility clinic," she said. My chest tightened. "She came to me 3 weeks ago crying. She confessed something she helped cover up." Dr. Brooks opened a folder and slid it toward me. Inside were clinic records, payment receipts, and internal emails. "Your husband paid her to switch the sperm sample during your IVF treatment." The room tilted. "That's impossible," I whispered. "He was with me every step." "Yes," she said softly, "that's how he controlled it." She swallowed hard. "He's infertile, completely. He didn't want you to know." My ears rang. "So he lied to me." "No," she said, "he planned." She leaned closer. "After you gave birth, he planned to demand a DNA test." My heart stopped. "When the test proved the child wasn't biologically his, he would accuse you of cheating." I covered my mouth. "He would take your inheritance, your home, your reputation, everything." The air felt heavy. "He needed money," she continued, "and you were his solution." I sat back, shaking. "He thinks he's clever," I said slowly. Dr. Brooks nodded. "But men like him always underestimate one thing." "What's that?" I asked. "The woman they're lying to." I drove home that afternoon with calm hands and a screaming mind. Lewis's car was already in the driveway. He smiled when he saw me. "How was the appointment?" he asked, kissing my cheek. "Everything okay with the baby?" I showed him the ultrasound photo. "Perfect," I said. That night I cooked dinner. He talked about work. I watched him. The way his phone never left his hand. The way his smile came too easily. That night he slept peacefully. I stared at the ceiling and made a decision. I would not confront him. I would outplay him. The next morning, I called in sick and hired a private investigator, a retired detective named Rachel Grant. She listened quietly. When I finished, she leaned back. "That's fraud," she said, "and desperation." 10 days later, she called me. He's drowning, she said. Gambling debts, stolen money, affairs. You weren't his wife, you were his exit plan. I closed my eyes. Good, I said. Let him keep believing he's winning. Calling my mother was the hardest part. We hadn't spoken properly in 2 years. When she answered, I whispered, "You were right about him." She didn't gloat. She asked one thing. "What do you need?" For the first time, I cried. Within days, I was sitting across from a sharp divorce attorney. "This is criminal," she said after reviewing the evidence. "We'll let him finish his move." "How?" I asked. "We give him a stage," she replied. 6 weeks later, I smiled sweetly at Lewis. "Let's throw a small celebration for the baby." His eyes lit up. He suggested something in front of everyone. "A DNA test," he said proudly. "Right here, no secrets." I smiled. Wonderful idea. The garden was full. Champagne glasses clinked. Laughter floated through the air. Lewis stood confident. I stepped onto the platform and took the microphone. "This celebration is about truth," I said. Then I opened the folder. Clinic records. Bribes. Receipts. Names. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lewis turned white. "I can explain." "No," I said calmly, "you can listen." Police stepped forward. His mother cried. His father looked away in shame. Lewis begged. "I love you," he whispered. I looked him in the eye. "I'm thinking about my baby," I said. "That's why this ends now." They handcuffed him. The truth exploded publicly. Court cases followed. He was convicted. 7 years. I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. I named her Hope. Not because I survived, but because I chose truth over fear. Some people think strength is loud. It is. Sometimes it's quiet. A locked door. A turned-off screen. And a woman who finally sees the truth. He thought he married a victim. What he married was the last woman he would ever underestimate.